Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Brews with Brian, a craft beer review podcast. Craft beer is beer that is brewed in smaller breweries, not these big corporate machine breweries that we're all aware of. Craft beer is different from what you would drink in college to get drunk off of. This beer is designed to be savored and to be enjoyed for the complexities that it offers. The people that make craft beer put time and patience into this stuff, and they're very passionate about it, as am I, which is why I'm doing this podcast. On today's episode, we have Dragon's Milk from New Holland Brewing Company, Hop Revival from Yellowhammer Brewing, and Sliced Nectarine IPA from Moody Tongue Brewing Company. So let's kick this show off. First up on today's show, we have Dragon's Milk. Dragon's Milk comes from New Holland Brewing Company out of Holland, Michigan. It's got an ABV of 11%, and it's available year-round. The description from the website says, a barrel-aged imperial stout with roasty malt character intermingled with deep vanilla tones, all dancing in an oak bath. This beer pours a dark, oily, black color with no light penetration at all. It has a tan brown head about half a finger thick that dissipates quickly into a ring around the rim of the glass. The aroma is heavy with vanilla that leads into some cinnamon and a little bourbon booziness as well as some roasted malts. But they all take a back seat to the big vanilla sweetness. Tasting this beer, it is just like the aroma, heavy vanilla that dominates the palate, followed by the cinnamon, bourbon, and roasted malts. This beer finishes really sweet, which isn't a bad thing. This beer is a full-body beer with a small amount of carbonation that lightens the feel up just a little bit. Overall, this is one of my favorite imperial stouts. It's probably the one that introduced me to the style. There's plenty going on with this beer, but it all takes a back seat, like I said earlier, to that big vanilla punch. Dragon's Milk is available year-round, which makes it more appealing to me, and it should to you too, because this thing you should be able to find anywhere. And you have to try it. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. This will introduce you to imperial stouts, and in a very light way, because there's other imperial stouts that are a lot harder than this one, but you will not be disappointed. But I'm giving Dragon's Milk from New Holland Brewing Company 5 stars. And next up on the show, we have Hop Revival from Yellowhammer Brewing Company out of Huntsville, Alabama. Hop Revival has an ABV of 9.2%, and it's got a rotating availability. The description from the website says, a West Coast-style Imperial IPA brewed with an abundant mix of Amarillo, Columbus, and Centennial hops. This beer pours a deep, dark orange amber color, and it's very cloudy. It has a big head with good retention and lacing. The aroma is of citrus and a hint of booze. As this beer warmed up, it blossomed into a very nice, rich and ripe candied citrus orange fruit aroma. Now, tasting this beer, it is very flavorful with ripe citrus fruit and hops, and you get a little orange peel and orange fruit in there with it. It's got a really good balance. A little bitter aftertaste follows on the palate, but it's not unpleasant. This beer is very drinkable. There's no doubt about it. This is another success from Yellowhammer Brewing. I love this brewery. I love just about every beer that I've ever tried there. Don't be afraid to let this beer warm up a little, because at the right temperature, this beer becomes a very rich and flavorful beer. Check it out when it's available. You will not be disappointed. I'm going to give Hop Revival from Yellowhammer Brewing 4 stars. And our final beer on today's episode is Sliced Nectarine IPA from Moody Tongue Brewing Company out of Chicago, Illinois. And Sliced Nectarine IPA has an ABV of 5.9% and a rotating availability. The description from the website says, the inspiration for this beer came in the form of a summer farmer's market and the abundance of fresh fruits and produce. The resulting IPA showcases a bright tropical aroma of stone fruits that balances the grapefruit acidity of the Chinook hops. The beer's crisp profile refreshes and delights taste buds and craves pairings such as slow-roasted pork shoulder or a slice of warm peach pie. This beer pours a amber color with a white head. The aroma is of peach and white grapes. There is a low-level herbal note to this beer in the aroma. Now, tasting it, it has a strong peach, white grape, and herbal flavor. There are also some citrus flavors that are moderate with very low elements in it. It has a moderate body and is a bit high on the carbonation scale. Overall, the peachy elements outshine the nectarine, especially in the aroma, for me personally. With that said, this is a very well-balanced beer. I enjoyed it very much. It's probably one of the first craft beers I actually had. I think I actually had it at a beer fest one time. But the fruit flavors are on point. If you can find this beer, give it a shot. Especially if you like fruity beer, because this thing is heavy on the fruit. But overall, I'm giving Sliced Nectarine IPA from Moody Tongue Brewing Company 4 stars. And that is it for today's episode of Brews with Brian. Today's episode I reviewed Dragon's Milk from New Holland Brewing Company, Hop Revival from Yellowhammer Brewing, and Sliced Nectarine IPA from Moody Tongue Brewing Company. I hope everybody enjoyed this episode as much as I did. It means a lot that everybody still continues to listen. And as I recorded this today, I just got the information that we have our first international listener. We are now in the U.S. and France. So whoever is listening in France, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Check the show out on our social media accounts on Facebook at Brews with Brian, Twitter, Brews W. Brian, and Instagram on Brews with Brian. And don't forget to tune in next week for another episode of Brews with Brian. And we'll see y'all next time.